Picture this. You crack open your shell expecting sunshine and rainbows, but instead you're greeted by the gaping jaws of your own mother. Welcome to life as a saltwater crocodile, where survival isn't just unlikely, it's practically a miracle. Your story begins in the steamy swamps of northern Australia, buried in a nest with nearly 50 of your brothers and sisters. The moment you emerge, chaos erupts. Your mom towers above you like a prehistoric nightmare, and before you can even process what's happening, those bone-crushing teeth are heading straight for you. But here's the twisted part. She's not trying to eat you. But this is her idea of a taxi service. One by one, she scoops up her babies in those terrifying jaws and carries them to the water. You're probably thinking this can't get any worse, right? Think again. The swamp you're about to call home is basically nature's version of a gladiator arena, and you're the smallest, most defenseless contestant. The statistics are absolutely brutal. Out of every 100 saltwater crocodile hatchlings, only one will survive to adulthood. That's a 99% failure rate that makes medical school admissions look generous. Your siblings aren't just competition for food. They're potential casualties in a war zone where everything with teeth, claws, or wings sees you as a convenient snack. But wait, there's more nightmare fuel coming your way. The Underwater Nightmare Academy. The moment you hit the water, predators emerge from everywhere like they've been waiting for dinner reservations. Birds swoop down from above. Monitor lizards lurk in the shadows. And even fish see you as an easy meal. Your mom does her best to protect the brood. But when you've got dozens of tiny wiggling targets in a swamp packed with hungry predators, it's like trying to guard a buffet during Black Friday. Within hours, half your siblings are gone, just gone. The swamp has claimed them, and you're left wondering if you'll be next. But here's where things get interesting. You've got some serious evolutionary advantages that most people don't know about. First, that muddy grayish-green color isn't just for show. You're practically invisible in the murky water, blending perfectly with the vegetation and shadows. Second, and this is absolutely mind-blowing, you can hold your breath underwater for up to 2 hours. 2 hours. Most humans start panicking after 30 seconds. Your skin is covered in thousands of tiny sensory dots that can detect water vibrations from 65 feet away. Imagine having a built-in motion detector that works underwater. Every ripple, every movement, every potential threat or meal sends signals straight to your brain. You're like a living submarine with sonar capabilities. Despite these incredible adaptations, the carnage continues relentlessly. Territory wars begin 6 months later. You've somehow survived the initial massacre and grown into a proper juvenile crocodile. Congratulations, you're now big enough to have your own problems. Those surviving siblings, they're not family anymore. They're competitors. And everyone needs their own territory. You stake out a small section of riverbank. Nothing fancy, but it's yours. The problem is, your brothers and sisters have the same idea, and nobody's interested in sharing. When one of them dares to hunt in your territory, the gloves come off. These aren't playful sibling squabbles. These are brutal, bone-crushing battles that leave winners limping and losers scarred. Your diet has upgraded from tiny insects to more substantial fare. Crabs, fish, frogs, anything that moves and fits in your expanding jaws. But finding food means venturing into dangerous waters, literally and figuratively. Every hunt is a calculated risk, every meal potentially your last. The sensory superpowers really shine during hunting. You'll detect a fish from incredible distances, then use that murky water as perfect camouflage. One moment you're invisible. The next moment, snap. Dinner is served. It's like being a ninja, but with more teeth and a serious attitude problem. Those territorial fights aren't just about pride. Wounds from these battles can leave you vulnerable for days, unable to hunt properly while predators circle like vultures. It's a vicious cycle where weakness invites more violence. But nature has one more cruel trick waiting for you. The starvation season, just when you think you've figured out this survival thing. The dry season arrives like an unwelcome relative who overstays their welcome. The sprawling swamp you called home shrinks into a network of tiny, overcrowded pools. Water evaporates, leaving behind cracked mud, exposed fish, and a very, very grumpy crocodile population. Food becomes scarcer than parking spots at a shopping mall during Christmas. You're forced to compete not just with your siblings, but with every desperate reptile in the area. That little fish you've been stalking for an hour? Your brother swoops in and steals it right from under your nose. The starvation makes everyone petty and ruthless. But here's where things get truly terrifying. The adult crocodiles start moving into your shrinking world. These are massive, battle-scarred veterans who've survived decades of this madness. They claim the remaining water holes like mob bosses, dividing territory, taking whatever prey they want and giving exactly zero consideration to smaller crocodiles like you. You spend your days hiding in the shallowest corners, holding your breath, praying that the giants don't notice you. When a 15-foot adult glides into your pool, you become a statue. One wrong move, one splash too loud, and you become an appetizer. The psychological stress is unreal. You're constantly on edge, constantly hungry, constantly aware that you're one bad decision away from becoming someone else's meal. It's like living in a horror movie that never ends. The good news? If you survive this nightmare, you're ready for the next phase of your journey. The Great Ocean Gamble. 2 years of this madness have passed, and you've grown to an impressive 6.5 feet long. But success brings new problems. You're too big to hide under branches anymore, making you a walking target for every predator in the neighborhood. It's time for one of the most dangerous decisions of your life, leaving home. Here's where saltwater crocodiles reveal their most incredible secret. You're the only crocodile species capable of surviving in the open ocean. While your freshwater cousins are stuck in rivers and lakes, you can venture into the vast, terrifying expanse of saltwater and actually thrive there. Your body has specialized salt-excreting glands that work like biological water purifiers, removing excess salt from your system and allowing you to handle any level of salinity. This makes you one of the very few reptiles capable of ocean travel, opening up possibilities that other crocodiles can only dream about. The journey across open water is both liberating and terrifying. You can swim hundreds of kilometers, exploring distant islands and coastal areas that most predators can't reach. But the ocean has its own dangers: sharks, storms, and the constant threat of exhaustion in waters too deep for rest. After weeks of exploration, you finally find what you're looking for: a quiet stretch of salty river with fewer fish and higher salinity. It sounds terrible, and honestly, it kind of is. But terrible, for most creatures, means perfect for you. The harsh conditions keep other crocodiles away, giving you a safer environment to establish your territory. The irony isn't lost on you. You've traded comfort and abundant food for safety and solitude. But at this stage of your life, survival trumps luxury every single time. The rise to power, 12 years of grinding, fighting, and surviving have transformed you into a formidable predator. You're now 13 feet long, weighing around 1,000 pounds of pure muscle and attitude. That modest territory you settled for, it's not cutting it anymore. Your massive appetite demands better hunting grounds, and you know exactly where to find them. Those prime, food-rich territories you avoided as a juvenile. They're calling your name now. The only problem is they're occupied by serious heavyweights, battle-scarred veterans who've held these spots for years. It's time for a hostile takeover. You size up your target, a massive crocodile guarding the perfect stretch of river. Deep waters, plenty of hiding spots, and enough prey to keep you satisfied for months. The standoff is tense, both of you posturing like gladiators before the main event. Tails swish menacingly, jaws gape to display impressive dental work, and the water practically vibrates with testosterone. The battle is absolutely brutal. You thrash, snap, and claw with decades of pent-up frustration. Each blow echoes through the water like thunder, and local wildlife wisely evacuates the area. This isn't just a fight. It's a changing of the guard, a transfer of power that will determine your future for years to come. Victory tastes as sweet as the river now flowing through your new domain. The territory is everything you hoped for, and more. You strut through those deep waters like you own the place. Which you do, sampling delicacies that were off limits for years. Wild boar, gazelles, even the occasional shark that wanders too close to shore during your ocean excursions. Success brings unexpected perks. Word of your victory spreads through the crocodile community, and females start taking notice. Your prime real estate becomes a magnet for potential mates, and suddenly, you're juggling the responsibilities of territory defense with the pleasures of reproduction. But power comes with a price, and maintaining your empire requires constant vigilance. The motherhood marathon, if you're female, winning prime territory means it's time to secure your genetic legacy. Building a nest becomes your obsession, finding the perfect elevated sunny spot that won't flood during the next storm. Using powerful back legs, you excavate what amounts to a fortress for your future offspring. You lay up to 50 eggs, each one containing your genetic blueprints and representing months of evolutionary investment. Carefully covering them with soil, you create a natural incubator that maintains perfect temperature and humidity. The engineering is remarkable, but the real work is just beginning. The next 80 days become a marathon of patience and paranoia. Every shadow could hide a nest predator. Monitor lizards slither through the area with their forked tongues tasting for your precious eggs. Birds perch nearby like feathered vultures, waiting for any opportunity. Even other crocodiles might decide your clutch looks like convenient fast food. You charge at every potential threat with earth-shaking hisses and snapping jaws. Most intruders get the message and retreat, but the bold ones require more persuasive discouragement. Sleep becomes a luxury you can't afford. Constant vigilance is the price of motherhood in the crocodile world. When those faint chirping sounds finally emerge from the soil, your relief is overwhelming. Tiny versions of yourself wiggle out of the nest, all wide-eyed and ready for a world that wants them dead. You gather as many as possible in your fearsome jaws, those same teeth that crush bones now handling your babies with surgical precision. The journey to water marks their first taste of the swamp, but celebration is premature. Predators notice the commotion immediately, circling like uninvited party crashers. Birds swoop down, lizards dart from shadows, and fish rise from the depths. Some of your hatchlings don't survive the first hour. You patrol relentlessly, teaching survival basics while watching your brood shrink daily. It's heartbreaking and frustrating, but it's also the natural order. The ones that survive these first crucial weeks carry the genetic legacy that will define future generations. The apex predator faced 20 years of violence, starvation, territorial battles, and survival have culminated in your transformation into nature's ultimate predator. You're now 20 feet of pure, concentrated menace, weighing over 2,200 pounds and sporting the title of world's largest living reptile. Your jaw delivers over 3,700 pounds of crushing force, enough to snap a small car in half. Your scales have become virtually impenetrable armor, and every muscle in your body coils with decades of refined power. Rivals take one look at you and decide they have pressing business elsewhere. Your territory has become a kingdom where you reign supreme. The occasional foolish juvenile might test your patience, but one casual tail whip sends them packing with a valuable lesson about respecting their elders. Your diet reflects your dominance. Water buffalo that wander too close, wallabies drinking at the water's edge, feral pigs foolish enough to invade your domain. These aren't just meals, they're statements of power. A single kill can sustain you for weeks, leaving plenty of time for leisurely basking in the sun and patrolling your waters like an aquatic emperor. You've reached the pinnacle of crocodilian success, living the apex predator dream. But even dreams have expiration dates. The inevitable decline decades pass in relative luxury, and you grow to a staggering 23 feet long, weighing over 2,000. You're officially a living legend, one of the largest saltwater crocodiles ever recorded. But at 70 years old, your body begins betraying you in subtle, then obvious ways. That water buffalo drinking at your river's edge? You lunge with all your might. But something's different. You're slower, less precise. The prey senses you coming and escapes easily. Your once razor-sharp reflexes have dulled with age, your teeth worn down from decades of crushing bones and tearing flesh. Scavenging becomes your primary strategy, a humbling transition from apex predator to opportunistic scavenger. You patrol the fringes of your territory, searching for scraps abandoned by younger, faster crocodiles. It's not dignified, but pride doesn't fill empty stomachs. Your fat-storing abilities become crucial now. You can survive up to 3 months without eating, coasting on stored energy while younger predators handle the heavy hunting. It's a bitter irony. Your greatest evolutionary advantage becomes a necessity for managing your decline. One day, a massive young male enters your territory. His scales are unscarred, his movements quick and powerful. He represents everything you once were, and he's here to claim what's yours. The challenge is inevitable, written in millions of years of evolutionary script. The confrontation is brief and decisive. Your experience and size can't overcome his speed and aggression. In moments, your reign ends not with glory, but with the simple changing of the guard that defines all apex predators eventually. The brutal truth: this is the reality of being born a saltwater crocodile, a life defined by violence, starvation, constant danger, and the ultimate certainty of decline. From the moment you hatch with a 99% chance of dying before adulthood, to the inevitable defeat by a younger challenger, every day is a struggle against overwhelming odds. You might survive longer than any other crocodile species, potentially reaching 100 years of age. But longevity comes at the cost of endless vigilance, brutal competition, and the gradual erosion of the very abilities that made you supreme. Even as the ultimate apex predator, you're just borrowing time from a universe that doesn't care about your individual story. The saltwater crocodile's existence is a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering wrapped in a nightmare of survival challenges. Every adaptation that makes you formidable also makes you a target. Every victory sets up future defeats. Every moment of dominance carries the seeds of eventual downfall. In the end, being born as a saltwater crocodile means accepting that life is fundamentally unfair, brutally competitive, and ultimately temporary. You might become the most feared predator on the planet, but you'll always be one day closer to the inevitable changing of the guard. That's not just why it sucks to be born a saltwater crocodile. That's why it's simultaneously the most impressive and most tragic existence in the natural world. That's a wrap on today's wild journey. But here at the Zoo-phoria show, we're just getting started exploring nature's most incredible stories. Subscribe if you want to keep discovering the shocking, hilarious, and downright unbelievable truths about the animals sharing our planet. Your next favorite animal fact is just one click away.